the four main, in my opinion, falsehoods being peddled about this alleged deal. And why do I call it that? Because there is nothing guaranteed about anything that really matters in it, okay? And yet, it's not me who's telling you that this is the best thing ever. It's the president and his new pit bull. The vice president, J.D. Vance, has decided that this is the hill that he's going to die on. And it makes me question his Yale education. He went from questioning going to war with the regime, which was an intelligent position, to owning it to a stupid degree. He's mixing his messages on show after show like no one watches more than what's in their silo. But what he has been doing everywhere is spreading mis- and disinformation about a deal that no one on his side really likes. First, he tells everyone not to believe what the text of the deal says. Watch.
This idea that the Iranians get all these benefits before the deal is actually consummated, the idea that they get benefits before they change their behavior, is fundamentally a talking point that is issued by people who want the conflict to continue indefinitely, despite the fact that that's not good for the American people.
It's a lie, it's divisive, and it is easily countered by the language that he's saying doesn't exist. Look at point 10 of the MOU. The United States is allowing the regime to sell their oil immediately, and it's taking place as we speak by the vice president's own admission. Now, he can play with terms and he can pervert the obvious, but he's just lying to your face, because I really believe that this administration has decided the G in MAGA stands for gullible, and that you guys will believe anything they feed you. And this is an opportunity for you to show them they have it wrong. And why? Because this is adding insult to injury. None of you asked for this war. And the only saving grace with what is obviously a desperate exit is that the overwhelming majority of us just want him to get the hell out. But you can't have it both ways. You want to bail on a bad war? Fine. But don't sell it as a better deal than the one you broke. And in so doing, Donald Trump, as President of the United States, allowed and encouraged the regime to make the enriched uranium that he would later say justified war. Remember that. Next, these BS comparisons of the fundamentals of Obama's deal and Trump's deal.
In 2015, Iran had built a sophisticated nuclear weapons program with a nuclear weapons stockpile. So the perspective that we came at as the United States was, you already have a really nice nuclear program, we're going to bribe you. Where we're coming at it is, we already destroyed your nuclear program. And so if you promise and show verifiable pathways to not rebuild it, then we're willing to give you some sanctions relief and things like that. So it's a fundamentally different perspective.
That is fundamental BS. This MOU is trying to do the same exact thing that the JCPOA actually did. That's the only fundamental difference, because the concepts are what they call in the law pari passu, meaning they move together the same way in Trump's deal and Obama's. Iran gets access to frozen funds if they give up their nuclear weapons program. That's how it worked then. That's how they want it to work now. But remember, U.S. intelligence has already made it clear to the administration that the regime says they don't find what they agreed to in the JCPOA acceptable anymore. So who knows if they'll even get to what they said wasn't enough. The president and vice president are not conditioning the give on what the regime has to do first, and the Obama deal did. Why? Because the strait isn't open. They're saying it'll probably require a toll. That's what the head Iranian negotiator just said today. And yet they're letting them have access to oil revenues and other revenue streams. And the president said it to you. Well, but this is their money. Yeah, I know. Obama told you the same thing. And Trump said it was unacceptable. But now it is? That's the problem, okay? And they do have this add-on $300 billion reconstruction fund. To me, doesn't smell right. I don't know where the money's coming from. I don't know what Trump friends are going to get a piece of that action. I don't know. But I do know this right now. As a concept, it exceeds every benefit combined from the JCPOA that will be given to this regime, for what it's worth. And the vice president should explain returning to this nonsense that the bombing last summer destroyed the nuclear program. How? How can it be true that you destroyed the nuclear program, but then a year later the president says they're only weeks from a nuclear weapon and we have to start a war? Which is it? Did you destroy it? Or were they weeks away from a nuclear weapon that militated an imminent threat to the country and a war unilaterally? Which? And since the vice president's job is now to portray this deal as better than Obama's, is that the reason that you're spreading misinformation about the most important substantive issue between the two deals? Listen to this.
Now, there are all these substantive differences as well. The Obama nuclear deal allowed enrichment. Ours will not. The Obama deal allowed the accumulation of stockpiled weapons-grade material. Ours is actually leading to the destruction of that stockpile of enriched material.
Again, you don't have a deal. You don't have anything to compare to the JCPOA. And you're lying about what the JCPOA did, which I'll correct in a second. But the president just said that what you're moving towards destroying doesn't matter anymore. He just said, it's all really dust. It's really dust. The dust is really, it's deep down beneath a mountain. We collapse the mountain is there, and it's underneath it. We're going to go get it. We'll get it. We'll get all of it. We'll have all of it. Beautiful. But we don't really have to get it. It's just dust. It doesn't matter. Which is it? Does the G really stand for gullible in MAGA, or will you stand up and speak out about what you know is untrue? Here's what the JCPOA allowed. And remember, you can call it Obama's deal, but that's a slap in the face to China, to Russia, to France, to the UK, and to the European Union. The P5 plus one were involved with this, okay? So all of them agreed to this, okay? Now you're alone. In that deal, they allowed low enrichment for fuel, not highly enriched uranium, which they have now. And remember, they only have highly enriched uranium because they started enriching in a way that violated that deal when Trump left the deal. And this memorandum says nothing on there being no enrichment. In fact, on point 8, it says that the U.S. and the regime agree to, quote, discuss the issue of enrichment related to their nuclear needs. Suggesting what? If they have needs, then they must be able to enrich, right? Otherwise, why would you care and say that we'll talk about your needs if they're not allowed to need anything? You see what I'm saying? He's just lying to you. Don't allow it anymore. Nothing gets better if you just say, yeah, but they lied too. They lied too. Lying is either right or it's wrong. Call it out everywhere, and that's how you get to a better standard. And then there is this money issue, okay? More specifically, whose money? Listen to this.
The Obama deal gave them over $1 billion of American money. This deal gives them $0 of American money. So a lot of substantive differences.
Look, if you are against giving murderous Islamist terrorists money, okay, don't give them any money. Because, yeah, they may use it to export terror or oppress and kill their own people. Oh, by the way, nothing in the MOU about reforms to the oppression of their own people, nothing about international ballistic missiles, nothing about exporting terror, not even on the table. For what it's worth, if those are things that you care about, which you should when you're dealing with a terror regime that wants to kill you and their own people. But you don't want to give them money, don't give it to them. But Trump and Vance are planning to give them money, and they're planning to do it the same way Obama did. And again, you don't have to like it, but don't say you don't like it and then repeat it. The $1.7 billion that was given to them, okay, was a legal settlement over a weapons deal that predated the regime. It was separate from the JCPOA. China, Russia, France, they didn't have anything to do with it. What was it? Okay? It wasn't all American money. Iran had paid the United States $400 million for weapons. They never got them, okay, because of their terror activities. Given the interest that that money's been held the whole time it's been frozen, they made a deal of $1.7 billion. And you can say it's too much, they shouldn't have gotten it, you shouldn't have given it to them in cash, you shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. Fine. I have no problem with the regime getting nothing. They deserve nothing except to be exterminated. But you've decided not to end the regime, and this list of terms makes the regime the cat in this dynamic and leaves Trump and now Vance as the MOU SE in this. They are giving more for less, and we have no clue if there will ever be what we had in the JCPOA. Those are the facts. But there is good news here. If Congress decides to do its job, I blame Congress for where we are right now. I do. They allowed the President of the United States to unilaterally declare a war under false pretenses. And then they ignored their duty again by ignoring what they're supposed to do under the War Powers Act. But now there is another law that gives them a third chance, okay? It's INARA, the INARA law, which is the Iranian nuclear deal. It was passed in 2015. Big bipartisan majorities. Why? To make then President Obama present the JCPOA for approval. And they did it, and they voted on it, and they passed it. Remember that. Republicans too. What will they do this time? Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.